welcome to the Astro Imaging Journey channel. Please enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome back to my Astro Imaging Journey channel. And as you can see here, I'm using Firecapture and SGP to try and capture Mars in opposition. This was recorded a little bit ago. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to record the audio due to the environment I was in. However, we'll make the best of it. So apologies for this voiceover. But as you can see, this was the first time I was using Firecapture. So I'm kind of fumbling through trying to get the image where I wanted it so that Mars was in frame. And yeah, I was just struggling a little bit. So let me jump forward to when I have it in frame, and we'll be back here in a minute. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got Mars in frame. I had to set the resolution to maximum in order to be able to see the full sensor. And now I can draw the box around the area of interest. Prior to this, I had already done a focus routine using SGP on another part of the sky. That got me pretty close. And one of the benefits, now mind you, this is my first time using Firecapture, so I'm going off of a little bit of what other people have said in their reviews of Firecapture. One of the benefits of using the region of interest is it allows the camera to only report that particular area, thus increasing the frame rate. One thing that would have been nice to have done was do this ahead of time, where I could have set up the filter wheel and the mount and a few other things in Firecapture. But as the case may be, this was a spur of the moment decision to try to use Firecapture instead of my DSLR. I did not want to put the DSLR back on the telescope, so instead I decided to give Firecapture a shot. So connecting up to the mount now in SGP, that will allow me, I'm already connected to the filter wheel as well as the focuser. That will allow me during this session to control the filter wheel, control my focuser, and as well as make fine-tune adjustments to the mount if need be. So you can see right now we're set to our Luminance filter, and just getting things so I can see stuff a little bit better, running the focus in and out just a little bit to see if we can clean it up a little bit. Mars, like I said, was in opposition, so it was about as big and as bright as it was going to be for us. So hopefully we're good to go. And now just checking the filters, making sure that when I change the filter, that's the other nice thing about using the SGP, not having Firecapture set up, is I already have the offsets programmed in SGP, so when I change the filters, the focus point changes automatically. And then we're using SGP and the ASCOM controls to move the mount just to make those little tweaks to keep Mars in our region of interest. And once we get all that set up, we'll start getting our routine. So let me jump ahead a little bit and we'll be right back. Alright, so here Mars is in the middle of our region of interest. And you can see I played with the gain a little bit. I got it up to about a 135. And I'm slowly moving my exposure settings up and down so that we have a good, a good exposure, a good histogram to get us some usable data. And once again, playing with that focus. The scene was pretty bad that night, so I don't think it was on the poor side, according to Dark Sky Finder, but once you're zoomed in this far, any amount of seeing, any degradation is just going to be horrible. So just looking at my options and getting about 110 frames per second, which should be pretty good. If you remember when we did this with the DSLR, we're taking a specific number of frames as opposed to a time. And in this particular instance, if we can just do time and we can truly capture 100 frames per second as opposed to, say, 10 frames per second or 30 frames per second, then we'll have potentially more in-focus frames than not, and hopefully this will work. So we selected our file format, and then we're just going to record. Now we'll note that prior to this I had already gone in and I had set my recording directory and the file name options to include the gain setting, the date, the time, the filter, and the name. So as you can see, we're running a 90-second limit, so it will record for 90 seconds, best frame rate it can, and hopefully in there we get some usable data. So once this finishes, we'll be back. Okay, so first time using Firecapture, and I wanted to see what we had before I did anything else. So I went into Registax, did a real quick stack on that one file, and then came over here to AutoStacker, real quick sharpening, and I think it's going to be usable. So this was our luminance filter. I have to make I think I made a few tweaks to my settings, but we're definitely onto something. So was able to validate that all that works. So here you can see, got a little bit of a drift, but that small region of interest on the sensor, a couple hundred pixels by a couple hundred pixels, Mars drifted from about the center of the frame to just about to touch the left side of the region of interest. So the drift wasn't too bad, and that's good. So at this point, all I really had to do was change my filters in SGP to match the desired. I then set the filter in Firecapture, even though it's not actually controlling the filter wheel. That allowed me to put the filter in the name of the file, and we'll, sorry, scroll moment, and you know that allowed me to make sure that, you know, I know which file I'm working on, but I also made sure that I kept all of my settings the same as far as the exposure, the gain. That way everything would be even across the board. So let's run through a couple captures here and we'll be back. I'm going to do that. I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. So be back in a few seconds. Alright, so a redo of the luminance is done. So as you can see here, even though it's not actually changing the filter, I am ensuring that all my settings are right and that I select the filter so in Firecapture, so at least the file name gets appended correctly. The actual filter control is being done through SGP. So let me get done with these and we'll be back. Alright, so we're about done here. I've captured at least 2 files of each filter. As you saw, the green was dimmer than the luminance. Red was a little bit brighter than green, but dimmer than luminance, which was to be expected. I left all of my settings the same with the exception of the filter. So hopefully when we go to combine these in the next episode, we'll have a true color look to Mars, assuming everything goes well. So as you can see, I disconnected from camera via Firecapture, and I made sure everything was connected up via SGP. That was another reason why I wanted to use SGP, because I knew my imaging of Mars was going to be relatively short-lived. This whole thing was about 30-40 minutes total time, and now I've got the rest of the evening. Just want to make sure I could just start rocking and rolling with my sequence after I got done imaging Mars. And that's what's going on now, is make sure everything was connected up and started my sequence, and everything is rocking and rolling as it should. So for this video, real quick, apologies again for doing the voiceover. Would have really rather have been able to record the video, but record the audio while I was doing it, but unfortunately things just didn't line up, and opposition only happens one night, and it just so happened there wasn't any clouds, and I was able to at least get the video recorded. So we'll end this one here. The next episode, or the episode after that one, I will actually work on stacking that data and combining it and seeing what type of a final image of Mars, and then compare it to what I got out of the DSLR. I'm really hoping that what I get using the mono is going to be better detailed. than with the DSLR, seeing as how even though the pixel size is actually the same between the two cameras, the fact that we're using a mono with a filter in front of it, we should get every pixel represented in each of the colors, as opposed to the DSLR, which we know has the bare filter in front of it, so we lose, 2/3 to 3/4 of the resolution that we can get from mono. At least that's the theory. In practice, we'll see if we get that. So with that, I want to say thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're staying safe and healthy out there. Please stick around for the outro. As always, clear skies and have a good one.
Thank you for watching yet another video from the Astrometry Journey channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video we've uploaded. In our lower right, we have what YouTube might think you would enjoy. And in the lower left is our subscription button. Please like this video, subscribe if you so choose. As always, clear skies, have a good one, and remember Duke.